Signori, buongiorno. Vi chiediamo gentilmente di cominciare a prendere posizione.
Please take your seats. We will start the press conference in a few minutes.
Pronto? No. Pronto? No. No. Ah sì. Pronto. Posso iniziare? Buongiorno.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Can you take your seats, please? So, we start the INTERNI press conference, which starts the 2026 Fori Salone Week. I'm really excited to be here on this stage with such a wide number of designers, architects, artists, but also business people, institutional representatives, people who belong to completely different cultures and countries. And it's even more exciting to be here in this complex, very complex moment of the world. Our planet is devastated by dramatic wars that make future prospects increasingly uncertain and fragile. However, we are here, we are in this creative atmosphere, and designers are committed to thinking, drawing and designing possible future scenarios that can make our Earth more livable. So I would like to thank INTERNI, the magazine that gathers us here every year and is leading us to think about design. Today's keyword is materials. This will be the common object of all our installations that we are going to discover. Materiae comes from Latin and is a very powerful word. Matter, the primordial and generating power. However, originally, materiae was also construction timber, wood, or tree trunks, what gave us the opportunity to provide the shapes. But matters are also topics, disciplines, knowledge. And today, we shouldn't forget that designs should be open, porous, permeable, should be able to have a dialogue with all disciplines, architecture, design, art, but also technology, science, philosophy, and so further and so on. Clearly, we should always remember that humans must be at the center and we should take care of our planet. All the installations that we will see today have a common central topic, that is the word materia. So, knowledge, technological innovation, ideas, and above all, imagination. However, before we start with our journey, I would like to point out how important it is to be here at the State University of Milan this is an extraordinary place, a wonderful place. Its architectural beauty is stunning, and this is the place where knowledge is conveyed and transmitted to future generations. So I would like to call on stage the Dean of the State University of Milan, Marina Brambilla. So good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the State University and welcome to INTERNI's Fuori Salone, this extraordinary event that has been conceived by Gilda Boiardi, with an incredible commitment. Materie, as we heard, is the title that has been chosen for this year. It's a Latin word and it triggers reflections and thoughts on new materials and their uses for contemporary design and architecture. But it also makes reference to its meaning of disciplines and subjects. And in this respect, we would like to highlight the value of interaction between various people, various cultures, and various sensitivities. Contamination. This has always been the best key to interpret INTERNI's Fuori Salone because of the features of this exhibition, but also, and I would like to state it here as the Dean of the State University, for this decision to have it here in the State University, in the old historical hospital, where we can think about the past, and the past is still a source of inspiration for us. And thanks to the continuous work of the sciences that are here, and with the production of new science, this is the best scenario to think about our future. Contamination between different knowledges has always been the foundation of the identity of the State University. This is a State University, open and interdisciplinary. Contamination is the only way we have to understand the complexity of present time. It conjures unexpected similarities between alien worlds, and in the language of arts, creativity, and design, it produces extraordinary beauty. So I would like to welcome INTERNI, all the artists, designers, the international audience that will be present in our courtyards. I would like to make a wish. This is a totally different year from previous years, so I hope that the dialogue between arts disciplines, different languages and cultures, a dialogue that can be infused with creativity, beauty and innovation, really manages to become a paradigm of our existence and take the world to the pathways of peace. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dean. The Statale University has always welcomed this event of INTERNI, but Fuori Salone speaks with the entire city. The city of Milan transforms itself and becomes a laboratory thanks to the entire manufacturing and productive system that makes it possible. So I would like to call on stage the Town Councillor for Economic Development and Labour Policies and Trade, Design and Fashion, Alessia Cappello, from the city of Milan. So I accept, I'm really happy to accept your compliments. Thank you so much. But jokes aside, Dean, guests, designers, it's always a great pleasure, Gilda, to be here today with my colleague Tommaso Sacchi to welcome you on behalf of the City of Milan and our Mayor Beppe Sala. It's really an honor for me to be here today because the Design Week is very important for Milan. It's really wonderful, fantastic, and it's a week when we are at the center of the world, where the entire city of Milan is shining, because Milan transforms itself into in this week into an outdoor laboratory where we are all stars and watchers and onlookers. We are all part of what's happening in this wonderful city. There are 19 districts involved, and we are very proud of that, because that was one of the goals of our mandate, of our legislature. The fact of having the Design Week not only in the typical districts, for example, State University, Brera, Cinque Vie, Tortona, but that the Design Week would be everywhere, in the Barona district, Braggio, Lambrate, also in many other places in the city, Chinatown, Nolo, Dergano. 19 districts have been involved. It's a geography that's alive, that expands, transforms itself, and contaminates mutually. This week, Milan opens itself into these incredible outdoor areas, but it really opens itself. This week, courtyards, houses, mansions, foundations that are usually closed will be open this week, and will show themselves to the rest of the world. Showing yourself, it's an experience of trust, of desire to tell your story. And this is the sense, the meaning that we would like to convey this week through the Design Week to the rest of the world. Because design mingles with the everyday life in Milan. It fills the streets, houses, unexpected pathways and journeys become an experience that is shared by everyone under the insignia of beauty. Dostoevsky said, "Beauty will save the world." And if we look at this statement today, in this historical moment, we can say this is a very powerful statement that we should rekindle in our hearts and in our souls through the creations of all these designers. This is a very complicated moment. In Milan, we are building bridges, designing spaces and places to live. And the rest of the world should get this message, where we see differences that are becoming more rigid. But here we can tell a different message. In Milan, this week, with all the events that will take place, we are telling a different story. And somehow, this week, design can be defined not only as an economic and creative industry, 255 million turnover this week, more than 300,000 visitors at Fiera for Salone del Mobile, more than 900,000 people in April in Milan. These are very important figures. They have to do with companies, business, know-how. But I would like this week design to get a new feature which is part of its DNA and which is often hidden, a sort of cultural diplomacy. I would like to call it this way. The language of design can speak to everyone, and it goes beyond language, tensions, conflicts. It goes beyond business, its inclusion, its relationship, it's the contamination between different cultures and worlds. Designing means being able to choose and select, to choose what is the world where we would like to be and live. Designing space means deciding what is the world that we want to live in. If this is the human meaning that we want to attribute to design, we should say it from here, from Milan. Milan is a city of peace, and Milan has always sent very deep cultural messages. We should reawaken humanity through your creations and works of art, Please surprise us, and let's keep our souls open so that this beauty can go through us, can change us from the inside, and can help us send a message of humanity and peace to the entire world. Thank you very much, designers.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this beautiful message, really beautiful. And as you were saying, on the one hand, we have the economy, the figures, but we have also culture. And so they are nurturing each other. And I'd like to welcome at this point the Alderman for Culture from the Municipality of Milan, Tommaso Sacchi. Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, of course, I'm very envious of the adjective used for the previous guest, but I leave it to her. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you to the Dean and the friends of Fuori Salone. I'd like to thank the institutions and Gilda, thank you once again for this new edition, for your energy that has been mentioned as key for having this work, this driving force of creativity, which is Fuori Salone of Milan live. Very quickly, I wouldn't like to take up too much time, but I would like to underline a couple of aspects which is important to pinpoint. First of all, this very fortunate passage between the Art Week and the Design Week. The Art Week and the Design Week not only establish a dialogue, but fundamentally they are a unicum without interruption of all sorts between these two events. And this is very emblematic for Milan, because the Milan Art Week was closed with the coming of the new international fair. And this testifies to the fact that also in the Art Week, a lot has been done in order to improve the program of cultural events and also to facilitate trade, commerce, and all the aspects related to the art business. And all this has been at the very heart of the week that we left behind us. And today, our week, Design Week, started off. This morning we started off at 7 o'clock. At 7 o'clock, Mr. Catalan decided to agitate the crowd in downtown in Milan, in front of the Duomo. And I'd like to thank you all for this beautiful week. And it is also important to underline the importance of this title. And of course, this creates a reflection. But I would also like to consider something that was not perhaps highlighted. It deserves something a bit better. 2 weeks ago, the city of Milan has in a very windy day, one of the streets of city life was given to Hazardid. And I'd like really to give a clap of hands for her. And so this street was dedicated to one of the most extraordinary interpreters of international design, and one street of Milan has her name. And I think that this is very important to underline. I'd like to thank you and I'd like to thank you once again. And I hope we're all going to have a very special week, Design Week. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Alderman, thank you so much for this very beautiful initiative. I'd like to remind you that Fuori Salone is the result of an idea from INTERNI from 1990. The Mondadori Group has supported it and trying to contribute to make it an international level event. So at this point, we are going to give the floor to the Managing Director, the CEO of Gruppo Mondadori, Antonio Porro. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you all. Well, it's a great pleasure for me like every year, to be here with you on the occasion of the opening of the new edition of the INTERNI event. Your participation and the figures that were mentioned beforehand by the Alderman and for Economic Development, Alessia Cappello, demonstrates that year after year we manage to attract all the people who are into this major event. And of course I have to thank the Dean because our cooperation, the collaboration with Mondadori and the Università di Studi di Milano has become something which is very strongly grounded and has been continuing over the years. Of course, I have to thank the two aldermen, Mr. Cappello and Mrs. Cappello, Mr. Sacchi, for their contribution, for also our city and our mayor. So also like to thank them and the mayor for the support provided. I'd like to thank our co-producer, Audi Italia, who's going to take the floor after me. And then let's talk about INTERNI. INTERNI is a unique brand that proved to be able to bring together the quality of contents and strong ability of relations capable of generating big events, as it happened 36 years ago, and which demonstrates one year after the other to be able to create links, connections between contents, places and people. And this is a vision of innovation and sustainability in social terms that the Mondadori Group has been embracing and applied in various areas, and this through projects that actively support the dissemination of culture and education in all of its aspects. I'm thinking, for instance, of the renewal of the Maya building, the seat of Gruppo Mondadori, which was created 50 years ago. And of course, you also have the INTERNI offices there. A requalifying, refurbishing in action that was completed 1 year ago. And it was redesigned by Italo Rota, very important protagonist of architecture, bringing a focus on efficiency, sustainability and quality of working places. Very often the headquarters of large companies are considered as fortresses from which all the community spaces are banned and everything becomes an office. Instead, we decide to remodel the inner spaces, having, and this through interaction areas, meeting areas which are transparent and open spaces, so that people close to you are not going to remain foreign to you. So we try to convey also in visual terms our commitment, a commitment of Mondadori towards people and towards the company and society at large. So promoting an inclusive culture, respecting individuals and turning them into a real community. And I think that this initiative, and I'm also thinking about the wealthy publications of our publishing houses. I'm going to name all of them, many of them, and all the publishing houses that are also concerning kids, and also all the school action that we take. So we have the whole heritage of brands and contents that makes the Mondadori Group the leader, also thanks to the acquisition of Archi products, with which we're going to implement and create projects along with INTERNI in the near future. We are naturally also a reference point in magazines, thanks to magazines like INTERNI and Casabella, as well as others. We have the broadest network of bookstores in Italy, and at the same time, these places are meeting places, places to establish a relationship with the public, but also in a concrete involvement in promoting reading and the dissemination of culture by all means. You all know certainly our flagship store in Piazza Duomo Square. It's the historic Rizzoli in Galleria Vittorio Emanuele, or the more recent one in the Alberto Sordi Gallery in Rome. But you don't know yet. I'm going to invite you to meet, to go and get to know this in Wednesday in Corso Buenos Aires 48, the new bookstore we're going to open. There will be an inauguration. I think that many of you will be interested in understanding how we keep investing in our chain, in our group of bookstores. And before going, I'd like to thank especially INTERNI and Gilda Boiardi, her chief editor, really the mind and the real driving force of this extraordinary event. And then, of course, I'd like to thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Antonio Porro. This manifestation has been made possible in the last 13 years, also thanks to a very sound and continuous dialogue of INTERNI with Audi. This is a collaboration based on sharing projects, research, experimentation, innovation. And at this point, we're going to thank and to call here the director of Audi Italia, Tim Bartlett. Good morning to you all, good afternoon to you all. Thank you, Gilda, for the invitation, for the extraordinary work that every year brings, enlightens this city. It's a great pleasure for me to be here. This is a place created to think and to stop and also do the things which is very difficult in our time, so going in depth. And this is why Audi has chosen Milan and Fuori il Salone as a natural place to talk about itself. And this is precisely what we would like to do this year. Starting from a topic that has been with us for many years, so speed. This has always been with us. It might sound like a paradox talking about speed in these terms, but this is part and parcel of our present. Images are very quick and the contents are consumed, feeds are constantly updated, even before you have finished to read them. So when everything is hectic, the temptation for a brand, for a person, for a project is to follow the rhythm, to keep in space and act accordingly. We have chosen to do the opposite instead. With the installation we are presenting here at the Milan Design Week, we started to create what is missing in these days, a moment of reflection, a portal towards clarity. So the idea was to create an architecture that we totally share, so an architecture that does not decorate but that reveals and that makes everything clear. So we're not talking about aesthetics, but we're talking about the consequences, and every single gesture is studied. But Origin does not talk about only the future, but it talks about the origins, because in order to understand where you're going, you need to know where you come from. You must have the courage to stop, be silent, and listen what you really are. Speed, well, the authentic speed, the speed that is important, is not something that you follow. It is the result of a process made of clarity, of accuracy and quality all the time invested. This very principle is applicable everywhere. And we see this in sports. So you don't win by instinct, but because every single movement is the result of thousands of hours of discipline and awareness. We see this in Formula One. Every single car is not just a car because of its speed, but the point of convergence of a whole system designed very rigorously, in an absolutely rigorous manner. And we see this in the car where the car that we're presenting here, the Audi RS5, so the first hybrid for Audi Sports. So this is not, what lies behind it is not the urgency of being keeping in pace, but with a clear intention. So it's the result of distilled knowledge over the decades. This is what we are bringing to Milan in 2026. So not just a show, we don't want to show off about speed, but we bring a reflection about its origin. An invitation for you, for the students of the design institutes that we're going to meet this week, and for everyone who wants to design the future. The invitation is to go deep in the roots before considering the horizon, because the right direction is not for those who are the fastest, but those who know why they are running. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Tim Bartlett.
A beautiful, beautiful message. Thank you. 2028, Busan, the city in the south of Korea, will be the world capital of design. So I would like to call on stage Kang Phil-young, the president of the Design Council of Busan. Please, talk about your city.
It is a great pleasure to be here with you today on this meaningful occasion. We are truly honored to present the Busan Pavilion in collaboration with INTERNI during Milan Design Weeks, one of the most prestigious events leading the global discourse on design. Milan Design Weeks bring together cities, designers, and industries from around the world to explore new possibilities. Through a wide range of exhibitions and programs across the city, it offers a compelling vision of both the present and the future of design. In particular, this year's theme, Materiae, is highly meaningful as it highlights the design, not merely as form or function, but as a process that creates new value and possibilities. Busan, recently designated as the World Design Capital 2028, is also committed to improving urban environment and enhancing the quality of life for its citizens through design. We continue to explore how design can address complex urban challenges and drive sustainable development. This recognition has become an important milestone for Busan, affirming our decision on an international level, building on the momentum and the aim to further expand collaboration and exchange with cities and organizations around the world. We hope this exhibition will serve as an opportunity to share Busan's experience and vision and to foster new partnership with cities, institutions, and designers globally. Once again, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to everyone who made this meaningful event possible. In particular, I would like to expand my heartfelt thanks to Migliore Servetto for their dedication to the Busan Pavilion, and I wish all participants meaningful and successful outcomes. Thank you.
Grazie. Grazie, Presidente.
Thank you so much, President Kang, for this very beautiful vision. But now it's time to welcome with an incredible round of applause the person who has gathered all of us here and year after year with vision, power and intelligence is making this possible year after year. Gilda, you have the floor. Good afternoon, and thank you very much for being with us today. I prepared a few words to say to you, but they have already said everything. I would like to thank magnificent Dean Marina Brambilla, because we will celebrate in 2 years' time the 20 years of our presence in Statale. So I would like to thank the 3 deans that came before her. And I would like to thank the designers, especially these wonderful designers that receive an invitation of Interni, and every year they are astonishing us, they are surprising us, and they give us incredible installations. Of course, the businesses and the schools that support us and support all the installations. Materie. Materie is this year's theme. Materie is the first gesture of design, but as we have already heard, materie means natural materials, sustainable materials, experimental materials, but also topics, subjects, and disciplines. Contamination. Contaminations of themes and subjects. So I would like to add something to this. These materials are present in Milan, everywhere. So we go from Statale to the Botanical Garden in Brera, and Portrait, I always pronounce it the French way, with how this installation made by Zaha Hadid, architect. And then we go to Italy and to Unipol. So we have 5 places that give us the opportunity to travel the city, see it, discover it in all its corners that, as Mrs. Capello was saying, are usually closed, and that during this week are made available to everyone. But in Statale we have a comeback, and we are particularly happy to see this. We have an incredible Largo Ricchini portico with a beautiful installation. How many designers do we have? We have 50 designers who have worked with us, 40 installations here and 3 around Milan. And we also have those installations that help us understand how AI this year can have a dialogue with technology, innovation, industry, arts and poetry and music. Again, as was already said, with the idea of talking about the present and the future. So we invite you all to do the following. Don't simply look at the installations, but enter into them, because those are active installations. And this is because of the mind, the imagination of our designers. They give us beauty, invention, genius, and peace. Peace. We need peace so much in this moment in history. Fuori Salone, as we said, is everywhere in Milan. It's increasingly everywhere in Milan. The city of Milan is hosting a festival, a true festival of design. Therefore, what we do through our designers, of course I cannot do it on my own, I do it with a team of editors. They work very hard, people who deal with this event, and people who deal with our website. And I would like to thank the Interni editorial staff and our publisher. Our publisher is giving us freedom and trust to work. So we feel very free to do whatever we want. And then, of course, they must be happy in the end. And so far, this has been the case. But I think you are here to listen to the designers, to the artists that will talk about their installations. So now I would like to give the floor back to Silvana Agnicchiarico and all the designers. Thank you very much, Gilda. Thank you very much for your incredible passion that you put in all your projects. But I'm very happy now to be here with all the authors. Let's start our journey discovering the installations. But before we go to the city of Milan, the first installation that we meet was already described by Tim Bartlett in Portrait Milan, origin by Studio Zaha Hadid Architects for Audi. Michele Pasca is with us today. It was already incredibly described by Tim Bartlett, so I would like to stop here, and I simply have a question for you. Your project is so beautiful because it is essential, it is subtracting, it is contemplating in this incredible courtyard, which is Baroque. How have you managed to create this contemplating dialogue? I would like to thank you, Audi Italia, Audi, and I would like to thank all those who participated in this project. The last 6 months were really a rush to implement this architectural project in this courtyard. From the very beginning, we decided that we wanted to leave a mark, and the idea of triggering an emotion. This was part of Audi's brief. So we took materials, steel, water, and we also took materials that you cannot touch, so light, sound. And we tried to convey the essence of a new pathway for Audi in Formula One, technological innovation in automotive, and we have created this installation, Origin, an installation that should be seen, should not be described. The idea is for people to have a singular experience. When you enter the installation, you will feel a collective and at the same time very personal experience. So we invite you all to have 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and create a thought. So you can enjoy this experience for as long as you want, and in Origin you will find a moment of focus, a moment of enlightenment, where every one of us can create a vision for the future, and maybe also for the present. Thank you very much, Michele. Thank you very much for this idea of going back to the origin. Let's continue with our journey. Now we are in the Botanical Garden of Brera. We have Annabelle Karim Kassar with us. Good afternoon. With the Garden of the Hesperides, with Annaka Design, Rubner House, ABS Group. Yours is a portico with light blue arches, reinterpreting this myth of the golden apples. But it is also a garden on the myth, on desire. Can you tell us how have you managed to translate such a legendary concept into a contemporary installation?
I understand what he said, but certainly easier in English. Just to say first that I thank INTERNI and Gilda Boiardi, and to have the chance to have an intervention in such an interesting garden. And I would say that my inspiration first came from all the garden I visited, but also came from coming in this garden every day and looking to people, how they walk, what they do, what they say, speaking also with the gardener, getting into their lives, staying in the day, in the night, smelling this orthobotanical extraordinary smell when you say in the evening, absolutely stupendo, yes. And what to say? Why a story? Because I think that story, it's a way to walk in garden, and it's a great meet and the idea of the Lost Garden with an infant. Hera, the mother of earth, was something you can dream of, and having all these walks through the nympha make you stop and see other plants. And the portico, it's like a folly that you take in and a classic Greek way of walking. Yes.
Completamente.
Sì,
Grazie, grazie Annabelle.
Thank you so much, Annabelle.
E ora entriamo nelle installazioni qui.
And now let's step into the installations here at the very heart of the Statale University, just to give you some coordinates, because otherwise you might get lost. So we have classified them depending on 4 clusters. The first cluster, everything is very flowing, but just to give you some, orientation, the first cluster considers installations where the matter becomes discipline. So it becomes a process of care, of attention, of responsibility. And the first installation inside this cluster is called House of Polpa, by Mutti. So I'm going to ask Francesco Mutti, the CEO of Mutti, to come to the floor with us. Thank you very much, Francesco. This installation has 20,000 cans of Mutti tomato pulp, very palpable, very red, and so that there's this sensory path inside the metal that shows that the whole production cycle that is circular, from the field to tomatoes to the selection of tomatoes and reuse. Think that in order to go through this path, there's a carpet made of tomato peel dried path, thanks to this resin by MATERIE. So, Francesco, how important is circularity and sustainability in your way of producing? Thank you very much. Good afternoon. I haven't designed or thought or House of Polpa, but one of the things that brings us together is material that we're being processing for more than 100 years, that we constantly innovate, and there are 2 main concepts within House of Polpa. On the one hand, sensoriality, so being able to bring a product which is simple, which is poor, but it's never ordinary, to the utmost level of the senses. So the 3 senses, and then normally it is the 4th one, which is the taste, which is involved in this experience. But along with this, we wanted to bring an idea of circularity. As we were saying, circularity in the base, which is the carpet, so to speak, that is made with tomato peels in collaboration with MATERIE, but the installation itself. So 20,000 cans of Mutti tomato pulp represent the days that went by from the moment that a new product, pulp, was born in 1971 to the present date. So these 20,000 cans are going to go back to their origin, because on the 30th of April, the installation will be dismantled, and the 20,000 cans will go to the kitchens of the people who will or passes by those days, with a very good example of circularity. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But let's remain on the first cluster. Now we're going to go on a different area. So we are in Cortile del Settecento. We're going to meet the Piero Lissoni project, a material for San Lorenzo. And here we are talking about a totally different terrain. Previously, red tomato, the matter, but now the matter dematerialized, becomes ethereal. So it is a yacht in 1:1 scale, which was sectioned with these filters, translucent filters. Piero, can you please tell us what it means for you to have made an object which is so concrete, impalpable? Good morning, rather, good afternoon. Thank you for being with us today. How can I tell you something that doesn't exist, in point of fact? I would like to tell you about a world. I wanted to talk about a matter, material made of thousands of hours of work, a material that involves incredible technological levels, and one that is made of construction. And I thought that perhaps the best way would be to make it disappear, vanish. So I try to turn this matter into a ghost. But it is a real one, a real ghost, made of thousands of thoughts, millions of thoughts. And I started to think, I'm going to build a labyrinth. I'm going to prevent myself to stick to the object itself. I'm going to turn it, retransform it in a space where people, day and night, hopefully will stop and listen to this sort of voice and reflect at the same time. Then, the realization was San Lorenzo, and this is a bit by accident, so to speak, but I had to thank them because every time they follow me, and also this year, they did not draw back, and I did the same, so I was in. And so thank you very much. And so I would like to ask you to take a look inside and just get lost. It is a labyrinth. Thank you very much, Piero. Thank you for this presence, absence, which is almost ghost-like. We are still in Cortile d'Onore, and now we are going to meet the Sounds of Matter, Paola Navone. Thank you very much. I would also like to thank Leonardo San Giorgio, which is here with us, who contributed to the making of the whole sound project of this installation. Paola, can you please tell us about it? Can you please talk about this huge, round, giant shape where inside you have the tools of work and that make us plunge into this synesthetic atmosphere, so sound and light and so on. Well, again, Gilda once again made a miracle this year, and she managed to get all of us here. She dragged all of us here. So in this adventure, I met Parmigiano Reggiano. It was difficult, so I wondered at the beginning, what am I going to do? Because Parmigiano Reggiano and design, so very fast, so to speak. So design is design, it's okay, the future and so on and so forth. Parmigiano, so the Parmesan cheese is something we're born with. All the children in the world know the Parmigiano Reggiano. So there was this, how can I say, so this huge gap between these two stories. And so I tried to, get down to it, so to speak, and I have built a container, a bit rounded, a bit Parmesan shape, and I have brought in all for the visitors to see all the elements, all the matters and the materials that are inside this cheese. So we have the hay, which is eaten by cows, milk, and then salt and so on. Very few elements. And with the help of Studio Azzurro, I made it possible for these to hear the sounds, when approaching these elements. So there's a concert. Yes, it's a beautiful concert, a symphony. Yes. So the more people you have, the more sounds you have, and so on and so forth. So this word Parmigiano, I think that it goes very well beyond design. It's a word for, that all over the world is known. So like Roma, Firenze, and Parmigiano. So go and visit this surprise. Thank you so much, Paola. Thank you so much.
Generazione continua e il vero realizzatore dell'installazione, guarda caso, è mio figlio che si chiama Michelangelo.
Evviva le generazioni future. Grazie Leonardo. Chiudiamo questo primo cluster.
So we're going to close this first cluster with the... Sorry. Okay, I was saying we're going closing this first cluster with the project by Michele De Lucchi and Davide De Angeli. So still within the Cortile d'Onore. So Tracce di Cura, which is made with Zambon. Michele, Davide, it's sort of a branch-like structure that you have to step in order to understand it. It's not. It needs the body to be crossed, so it's not immediate. So I would like to ask you, what does it mean to create an architecture work of this sort, and which is the concept of care and the focus on femininity that you have chosen? So if you, from the upper, floor of the porch, you will see from the top that it's like really a tree with many branches, and so the idea is to create a space that favors the dissemination, and this is becoming more and more important because with AI today, it's very important to be able to decide to go off the road. In the past, it was terrible, but now it's something we should embrace, and you should hope also, because deviating brings us towards spaces that we don't know, towards curiosity. It brings us to what is normally called serendipity, so discovering the things that you are not ready to discover. So this is the very meaning of this architecture. And when you step in, there's no straight line, but you have many possible deviations that lead you to discover different things.
Tema della cura.
So design and care. Because I see Daniele and Davide Rampello in the second line, they wrote a beautiful manifesto. So I would like to invite you all to read it. Pharmaceuticals and design. They all turn to humans. This is their first thought. Second is the unceasing desire to search well-being and search the future. Look at what can be tomorrow. These three things, humans, well-being and future, keep these two souls strongly together. And in order to conclude, a few years ago, we could design a hospice, a very peculiar experience for any designer, because you realize that when science and medicine leave you and they cannot do anything for you, it's only humans and the environment. That is the most extreme level of care for every environment, every room we try to design. Thank you so much. Thank you, Michele and Davide, for your gentle design. And now, let's continue our journey through the installations. Materia is not simply clusters. We have various installations which are scattered everywhere in the State University. Let's move now and find a first archipelago of installations with a video. Let's have a look at it together.
E cominciamo con I progetti di 3 scuole.
And we begin with the designs of 3 schools, IED, curated by Davide Angeli, the Vivo project. This is an emergency living area that can be set up in 48 hours to turn a situation of crisis into a chance and opportunity to entertain relationships and start again. The IUAD Academy in Naples, Salvatore Colasanto with Metro Park. Inspiration comes from the underground stations and Pac-Man. This is a journey in time in the 1980s between real and virtual, and it's also a connection between Naples and Milan. Politecnico di Milano and Poly Design with Luca and Marco Baldini, Cubic, with this structure 2026 reflections for rubinetterie 3M. You see these watery mirroring surfaces that appear to be liquid, and inside fact sheets raising awareness on the use of resources. In the press room, degli studio, together with Status Contract and Fratelli Damian, we have the press room Materie into 2 acts. So 2 interconnected rooms which are fluid materials become a story, a narration, and colors become codes. In the cortile d'onore, Marco Merendi and Diego Mencato present Break Down the Boundaries for Stangart. A functional element like this with gentle design is removed from its context and included into a garden of flowers to tell us that design and accessibility should go hand in hand. Alessandro Pandolfo, Le stanze di metallo for Ecosistemi, a sensory pathway among materials, brass, coltan steel, and galvanized steel, where sounds and perfumes highlight the sensual character of surfaces. '31 Design, Claudia Campone. Goodbye Discomfort for Uniclo. These are fabric belts or ribbons that give shape to a lightweight environment that should be crossed and touched. Bertozzi and Casoni with this sculpture Regeneration for Gallerie de Ambrogi, a colorful ceramic sculpture which is powerful, a gorilla with a roebuck among residues and beauty. Materials show fragility and the opportunity of care. And a round of applause to all the designers who are here in the first row. And now, the second cluster. And here, materials and architecture become the stars. Stone, wood, ceramics, very old and new generation materials. Let's start with Aula Magna. Here we have Esquisse, Sony Group Creative Center, together with Setsu and Shinobu Ito for Sony Group Corporation. We have the AD, head of Sony, Daisuke Ishii, and Setsu Ito. So, totally innovative paper coming from natural fibers, but also from raw materials like bamboo and sugarcane, and this becomes a new material for new artifacts. So my question to you is, what is the meaning of designing from scratch, totally from scratch? Because usually you design knowing what are the materials you're going to use. What does it mean to start from scratch?
Project in Sony. So one of the examples is this paper new material called original blended material. The material is made of bamboo and sugarcane fiber and also recycled paper. Then when we develop the material, we are focusing on that tactile quality, also the texture and the colors, to in order to enhance people to think about what material it's made of, also where the material came from. So we would like to create a moment of awareness of sustainability by the power of material itself. So for this exhibition just over there, we are using the original blended material, also newly developed high compressed the board that allows us to create such a unique appearance, distinctive outlook of our furniture. So please have a look and exhibit our place and think about material for the future sustainability. Thank you.
Grazie. Grazie. Grazie.
Thank you so much for this incredible way of approaching the design. And now again in Cortile d'Onore. And now we have Kit Pillow from the AAA House. Oh, there you are. Oh, sorry, Setsu. So my name is Setsu Ito, and I will speak English today.
Is very much Japanese and sustainable natural material. We have done many research and development on paper products, but quite difficult to develop the permanent products by paper. When we met Sony's effort to develop this original branded material, our motivation of design increased a lot. This is very nice future product, future material of paper. We believe that we can create by this material permanent furniture and building materials which that gentle for us as wood or stone. We believe that developing, we believe that we use by enveloping, sorry for my English, by enveloping this natural sustainable material as these furnitures we presented here, just here.
Certo, nell'aula qui proprio qui vicino.
Yes, they're exactly here in the room outside.
Scusami prima per averti perso.
No.
Thank you, Setsu. Thank you, and sorry for missing you, but I have these clocks, and I have the anxiety of continuing this marathon. So again, Cortile d'Onore, and now we have Kit Pillow. The AAA House, Recobel by Harman Vella. From paper we move to stone, reconstructed stone, these walls in this pavilion. So material is deconstructed and reconstituted, and it's the interpretation of space and time. Keith, can you tell us about this movement between space and time? First of all, I would like to thank you because I have the opportunity to thank Gilda and Carlo and all the people who came to Malta and see my team. This installation, I come from Malta, I'm not Italian. So with this installation with Recobel, it's a reconstituted stone. And this way, I wanted to tell the story of stone material, but also its value added. How stone has been processed for thousands of years. In Malta, there are Neolithic temples. They are the oldest in the world. And I wanted to talk about the passing of time that shapes the stone. Limestone is present everywhere in Malta, this yellow architecture. I wanted to bring it to an international audience in the Statale University, but I also wanted to talk about Malta heritage with this Neolithic architecture. And chronolith, this is the name, because over time shadows change, and this stone is formed. Today, with technology, we can reconstitute this limestone from production waste or production scraps. This is all comes from production waste or manufacturing scraps. And this is made by Recobel, produced by Recobel. And I wanted to tell this story. When you enter the architecture, you can also hear sounds. For processing, you hear the sounds of processing the stone, and also the voices of people that are speaking with each other when they use these tools. Wonderful, fantastic. Thank you very much, Keith, for your story. And now let's remain in the Cortile d'Onore. We have Alex Terziarol and Maria Elisabetta Ripamonti for MM Design and Xlam Dolomiti. Alex Terziarol is with us. We have Kiri to the cube. So your project is, your design is what we said in the beginning. It's the origin of the world. A tree trunk. In your installation, we have this stylized plant at the center. What is the story you want to tell? Well, Silvana, this is a fantastic story, at least as far as our experience is concerned. While wood is the main material for architecture and also for interiors, we had the opportunity to work with a wood that has something different in itself. We are talking about Paulownia, Kiri in Japanese, which has some specific features, and with a highly structured process and a specific type of pressing, we can achieve the same features of steel. So its mechanical performances are incredible. And a small detail, its carbon footprint is negative. So compared to steel, this is 100 times more sustainable. So here we have a reticular structure, the structure of a network, a lattice structure, to show these elements in space. And this gives the opportunity to people to sit in these circles, and they will understand that this is a very lightweight structure, but it can hold you. It's the future of architecture. In my opinion, this will be the future of design. Thank you. Incredible, Alex. We have this innovative step in research and technological innovation, sustainability, resistance, while keeping the main features of an extraordinary material such as wood. Thank you so much.
Siamo sempre nel cortile d'onore
So again the cortile d'onore, and now the installation Ceramics for Getting Light. Anna Rachel Schiffman. Good afternoon, Anne. So we move from paper to wood, and now ceramics. Ceramics is a material that transforms in the interplay with water, fire, earth, and air. How was your design? How have you implemented it?
Yeah, as you were saying, you know, ceramics forged in light, we really wanted to play onto the meditation of how ceramics, and by ceramics, there's really everything in the world is shaped by these elemental forces, earth, wind, fire, water, and really invite people to step into the place and connect in a real way. You know, connect to the outside. There's these circular openings that frame views. They frame views across the site, see trees, see the sky, there's quiet moments, but there's also a moment where the people should connect to each other. It's a space where they can enjoy being with each other or just alone, and really sit back. And of course, innovation in our sense is always trying to think about ways to heighten sustainability. So the products used are all sustainable. About 45% will be reused. And ceramic has such a long history in time, so it's really showing the hands that make these wonderful vessels for vitra, bathroom, and tiles. It's showing kind of the beauty of the ordinary things.
Stupendo. Grazie Anne, grazie davvero. E adesso entriamo.
And now we are going to step into installation of Rotting Court. We're still in Cortile d'Onore. The project is by Wu Bin. Good afternoon from Wood Design. This architecture sort of evokes the mountain, a natural element, where the changes of perspective, full and empty. It is a space that is about contemplation. Can you please tell us what it means to go through a space that enables you to understand your inner soul and create contact between the domestic environment and nature?
Here and to be here again to attend this beautiful event.
奥廷之名，它其实浓缩了我们的东方的一些空间和哲学的智慧。那奥本身它是一种深邃玄奥啊，那廷呢又是人工的构筑物，是连接人跟自然的一种状态。那本身我们这一次的材料选择呢，也是基于说对东方山水材质的一种意象的转移。 以及说对材料本身技术的一个极致探索，我们大量采用了海洋回收的材料，可再生的材料，那么也是回应了这次 INTERNI 的这个材料科学这么一个主题。
Yes, the name Outing Court captured the spirit of Eastern spatial design and the essence of mountain and water aesthetics. And the word out in Eastern aesthetics suggests depth and poetic subtlety, where space unfolds through concealment. And the word tin is a man-made courtyard, a place where people and nature meet. Together they form a mental sanctuary within a limited space. And also the Outing Court's material strategy is the translation of Eastern mountain and stone aesthetics and the exploration of modern craftsmanship. Also our main material is mainly recycled from the ocean waste. So this is a response to this year's Milan Design Week theme, material.
从物的角度，这次本身我们是用一种非常东方的文化视角去诠释的，因为东方人理解为物本身它会随着时间的变化而被风蚀被包浆，所以这本身就是一种东方式的浪漫。那么这也是我们这一次是我们的游山记的第3个系列的第3年在米兰大学的呈现。
So from the material perspective, this project is an Eastern readings. So the materials are never static, but whether in patina over time, acquire romance shaped by time itself. And also this year marks our 3rd consecutive years of creating the Travelogue on Mountain series of the art installation from an Eastern perspective.
Grazie, grazie davvero, grazie. E con questo progetto...
Thank you so much. And with this project, we have concluded the 2nd cluster. We're now going to step into the 3rd one, where matter becomes a topic. It changes nature. It becomes a tool to interrogate the present. And so we're going to start off with the light. In Loggiato Est, 1st floor, the installation of Jacob Lange, Studio Big with Artemide, that presents light knot progression. So the line of light that creates increasingly complex knots. Jacob, how did you manage to convey the mental process through this line?
much, first of all, for being here. The knot progression installation traces a clear line of evolution. Here in Milan during Salone, a moment when the global design community gathers, it reflects a shared connection when inspiration flows, relationships deepen, and new ideas begin to take shape. A single line of light moves through the arcades of Can Granda, forming knots that grow in complexity from one arch to the next. It begins with a simple gesture, almost instinctive. It gradually develops into more intricate configurations. Each knot represents a stage in the creative process, from intuition to structure, from an individual idea to a collective system. What starts a minimal curve becomes layered and interwoven, mimicking how projects evolve and how collaboration strengthens connections within design field. The installation acts as a metaphor, an illuminated thread linking people, knowledge, and disciplines. Our installation has been developed in close collaboration with the talented team at Artemide, translating the concept into a precise technical installation while maintaining the continuity on a single line. At its core, it explores growth and connections through one continuous element, from basic overhand ties to complex knot system. It reflects how increasingly complexity can still lead to balance. In spirit of the theme Materiae, it suggests that when different ideas and disciplines meet, they can form something unified, yet always evolving.
Benissimo, grazie Jacob per questa.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jacob, for this essential bright line. And now we are in the hall of Aula Magna. We're going to meet Kaleido by Andrea D'Antrarsi from Studio MAD. It is a space made of volumes or reflections. It's really a kaleidoscope. So, Andrea, how does the project change when you are faced with an endless system of possibilities? What is your approach? First of all, good afternoon. I'd like to thank INTERNI and Gilda Boiardi for this opportunity, and I'd like to bring you the greetings of Mayang Song, who's the co-author of the work, who cannot be with us today, who's very good friends of INTERNI. We have created Kaleido along with Canva. It is a microarchitecture made in wood, so a classic natural material, and a membrane, which is very technological. So the combination of these two elements made it possible to create this kaleidoscope of lights. It's an immersive installation that makes it possible for people to see the whole of Statale through various colors and experiences, because inside you have some tools that make it possible to familiarize with AI. So the underlying idea is to create, in creating these big cubes, 3 by 2 meters each, are reminiscent of those little games of, infants, where they can be brought together the way you want. And these colorful walls reflect the interior and exterior world, so creativity and the exterior world. So the idea is to see the architecture of Cagranda through various colors, and at the same time, this is the static nature of the cubes has been softened by the tapered shapes of the panels. So we have these various elements, the wood, the membrane, so the square geometrical figure, and the organic element of design. So everything is brought together to create a new experience. I would like to thank very much Canva and INTERNI for this great opportunity. And we thank you for enabling us to see the Statale University in colors. Now we go back to the Hall of Honor, Cortile d'Onore. We are going to change completely, and we're going to discover the sculpture of Richard Oleski, Wild Kong for Fidenza Village. It is a red sculpture Firenze Village, we said, for Bicester collection, in red resin, a gorilla that screams. So a primitive, primal force and emotional tension. So I'm going to ask Richard the following. Your sculptures in general always have this dual, this twofold intention. So on the one hand, épater le public, and the other one, émouer le public. How do you manage to do that?
Complicated. No, to be honest, when I did this collaboration with Fidenza Village and Bester Collection, the idea was to be very close to the public, to be close to the audience. And the gorilla is a monster, but it's a monster with a big heart. And he's protecting the people, he's like protecting the nature. He have only good intentions. I think everyone want to be a Kong, every human being. Maybe without the hairs, because it's not so nice. But yes, and we try to make a sculpture that people love, even the kids, everybody. And in the Fidenza Village, what is good is you don't have to be a professional of art. You don't have to know anything. We just bring for free the museum to the spectator, and that is very interesting for us. And this strong animal, it's also very nice, and you can hate him, you can love him, but there is a lot of emotion, and also it's very easy to read. If you don't know anything about art, it's easy to read. So I think it's like to be mainstream, popular, to be part of the universe, of the village, of the place, of the city, of the street, everywhere. And sometimes people don't understand that, and they think that art is only reserved for certain kind of people. And me, I think art is for everyone.
Evviva! Grazie a Richard. Infine, sempre nel cortile d'onore, incontriamo
So eventually we're going to have Busan Icons from Città di Busan World Design Capital, Migliore Servetto, a totally synesthetic sculpture. Yesterday we moved it and we made it sound with this sound echo of a faraway city, but a city which is with us today. So what does echo mean? It means designing not just objects, but more than anything connections, because this is an installation that tries to bring together, to connect world and people. Yes, to talk about a very beautiful city like Busan, we didn't want to bring images but quality. I think that the identity of a city as designers, is for us as creating the intangible. So a place is also made by the sounds of footsteps, the color of the sand, the sense of the city, conviviality, the language. And so we... and care. So we're talking about care before. I very much agree on this. We as designers, we have to take care also of the intangible, and this is the real value of our places. So city is a collecting house where we have to develop the projects for the future, and this is our commitment to the future. And in this respect, we want to bring Busan through the Hangul, so the Korean alphabet. This was created in the 15th century by Emperor Seongjong, who invented an alphabet to enable people who were illiterate to become literate. And this is just an example, or to reach this interaction landscape, which is not meant to be digital, because it's a physical interaction. People have to touch. And we have this sort of tray where we offer a sort of a square for the public to enter, to touch and feel the perception of the city of Busan. And then visitors can also play these complements which create this acoustic conviviality landscape, and which is going to be very strongly present. So I really invite you to participate, to come and play and participate, and also listen, because it's very important to listen. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And very briefly, we're going to all play together. before going to the last cluster, we're going to have a second video that we're going to see together. Thank you.
Rampello and Partners with their photographic exhibition La Man che obbedisce all'intelletto for First Italy, a black and white narration on Chinese craftspeople shot in Wenzhou. And then you see the final work. Navim Yacht Lab and Tecnimpianti with their photographic exhibition Racconti da Mare, which takes us from a safe harbor to a sea in storm, telling us the beauty of both shapes with engaging sounds. In the gate of the hall in L'aula Magna, Silvio De Ponte innesti a primordial nest of second-hand wood, describing nature as a living organism. So nature is pushing, pulsating, and awakens all our senses. Sandro Meneghello and Marco Paolelli with 365 for Gibus, a reflection on the outdoor to be experienced throughout the year. These totems describe the flowing of the seasons and the passing of the seasons. Jenny Canton Studio and Opera 21 show what's inside for CZ Group, a red monolith putting together technology and stimulating your senses with a new idea for home comfort. Paola Saspluglas, crafted to transcend for PD Paola, a jewel and earring becomes a macro architecture, an organic architecture, a reflection on matter, on constantly evolving material, and visitors can transform them, interact with it, scratch it, so that this architecture is transformed throughout the week. And then, in the gate of Scalone d'Onore, Alessandro Enriquez with surprise for Cartos with Scatolificio Lotti, a gate to be discovered. It's Colors Wonder. And a round of applause for the designers who are all here in the audience. Thank you so much. And now, the last, fourth cluster, where material is experimentation, but also expression. Let's start with the installation of Alessandro Scandura Mater in Cortile d'Onore for Holcim, Italy. Alessandro, your project comes from the wounds of war, where rubble, fragments, and debris are the remains of what was there. When war destroys everything, cities, existences, can we find a new way of restarting and finding new grounds and new foundations? Yes, first of all, I would like to thank Gilda, and like you said before, those people have the energy to set up a community of designers over time that give life to a city and that have a vision of the future? And the answer is yes, because matter means searching for the roots in matter, and this can be a new beginning. It's a sort of hymn to optimism, but also to human fragility. We destroy, but we are also able to rebuild. Matter somehow comes from an experience I had. I won an international competition for the reconstruction of schools in Ukraine, and the facades of these schools are built with the debris of war. So we looked for a partner working on recycling materials. Holcim Italy helped us find debris, rubble, not from the war, but production scraps and waste. And we decided to work with what had lost sense, to give it back sense to it. And it was very hard work. This installation in concrete, in reinforced concrete, is very complex to make. We mapped all these scraps. We placed them in a 3D structure. We mapped the ruins, and we have built a bench, and we have reconstructed a symbolic object to trigger all your minds. And I would like to thank all those who contributed to it. Thank you so much. Some housekeeping information. I have no countdown here, and please start it again, otherwise we're going to spend all night here. And now, senza fine, Simone Micheli, architectural hero, with Lumira, Energy, Pilosio, World Hotels. It's in the Cortile d'Onore. And with us we have Roberta Colla. And let's mourn Simone Micheli. He passed away too young at the end of last year. A great friend of INTERNI, a designer who always tried to put emotions at the core, at the center. And here as well, in Senza Fine, we are remembering him. He keeps talking to us. Roberta, what does it mean to make borderless architecture? An architecture that tries to transform the people who live in there, not simply crossing it, passing through it, but acting with the people who live in there. So, living the limit means going beyond without stopping. This is what Simone managed to do. I spent my life with him for 35 years. I worked with him for 35 years, and he has left me with an endless legacy. Senza fine, endless. This is dedicated to Simone Micheli, my father, to men of great passion. Humans who have always been able to go beyond the limit. Senza fine is an installation that goes beyond space limits, beyond material, and beyond what is visible. We have conceived this installation to go beyond, to touch the sky with empty and full spaces. Senza fine makes you think and makes you go beyond what is physical. This is dedicated to all creators, to all the poets, to all the musicians. And it is dedicated to Gino Paoli, Ornella Vanoni, to the great artists, those who have been able to raise emotions in us. Go beyond limits means thinking not in square meters, but in emotional meters. having a dialogue, and one installation has a dialogue with other installations. And this is a culture filled with emotions. And they shouldn't be limited to their own space, but they should have a dialogue, lights, colors, emotions. Architecture is not only matter. Architecture is relationships. Architecture, like Simone said, is to make people live well and to turn experience into memory. Thank you, Roberta. Thank you, Roberta. One very last round of applause for a genius of architecture, a poet, an incredible husband who's always with us and will always stay with us. And now we are at the borders between humans and superhumans. Marco Nereo Rotelli, Infinity in the Cortile della Farmacia with Veolia and Doming. This is a true synesthetic interactive installation where AI, music, poetry interact with the earth. The earth can absorb our emotions and give them back to us. So I would like to ask Marco, how have you managed to create this dialogue between poetry, music, sound, nature, and AI? Well, I believe that balance is not in equality. As Simone Weil wrote, this means covering the necessary spaces. And using the words of a big poet, I am somebody else, or almost so. And I think that we should have injections from other worlds. This it has been made by Riccardo Valentini, Nobel Prize winner, Valerio Coppola, Luca Marazzini, Alessio Bertallot, Elena Lombardi, Valerio Magrelli. Poetry, science, art, digital creativity are all combined to set up this system of composition made by Veolia. Veolia works on regeneration and sustainability, and Doming working on AI, human-centered AI. Humans are at the center with their knowledge and their intensity. But we all know that what matters is that our system of thinking is moving towards sharing and alliance. And I hope this will lead to new horizons. I really hope so. Thank you very much, Marco. Thank you very much for your ability to connect. And in conclusion, at the end of our journey, we move to Loggiado Ovest with Christopher Adl and Eugenia Bruni. Secret Garden by Pasquale Bruni. Christopher Adl is not with us. We have Eugenia Bruni with us. Hello, Eugenia. This is a secret garden. It's an immersive garden with stones, gems, precious materials and metals that establish a relationship with nature. How have you managed to describe 75 years of savoir-faire of this maison through this dialogue with nature? Yes, it's a dialogue of emotions, of vibrations, especially what represents us, soul and body. A jewel is matter that becomes body, becomes life. Light is soul that is taking shape. The State University was the source of inspiration with its arches and capitals. It's like a divine temple hosting this secret garden where we see the metamorphosis of the life of the jewel, telling a 65th anniversary of this maison, starting with Pasquale, his courage. He has set up a company characterized by a lot of courage and imagination, so far up to date. And here we see the various states, the metamorphosis of joy, emotion, and purest intimacy. The objective is to have a place where you can meditate and feel. A jewel is not simply vision, but it's also feeling. And taking care, just like jewels are taking care of the souls of people. And I would like to thank Christopher Radl. He's not here, but he has made a wonderful job here, very good job, with incredible sensitivity. So we are now at the end of our last cluster, but materials continue to expand. We have a very last video with another group of installations. Let's have a look at it together.
Alexander Bellman, gruppo C14, presents massive light for il T-Luce. So the portal becomes an architecture with trays that give us different levels of temperature of the light. Codo Studio with the Spanish design as a souvenir for Chilo, Spain. We have a still life upscale, so ordinary object transform Spanish design into memory and matter, identity matter. In the corner of Cortile d'Onora outset, we have Galarotelli, designer and Maramentasti, Chiede alla Luna for live help, a suspended moon between presence and absence. The mirror shows the presence and the void opens to dialogue, and this work celebrates the right to ask and dream. Jan Pouliard rings and opens surface for light and form for EcoPixel. We have a series of entwined bright cylinders, turns a recycled material into an open structure. So these are waste from pipes, and that creates flexible, porous structure. In Cortile d'Onore again, Paolo Ferrari with Tibur Continuum for RTC and Co. In this case, the very ancient material like a travertino is turned into sofas, but also armchairs, sculpted ones, and these objects invite encounters. Natasha Finocchiaro Maurino with corals, the origin of matter for Cristallina Design and Graniti Maurino. Here the marble meets the sea. You see that you have these gigantic corals, stones and rocks, and all this becomes an island to be inhabited, to be lived in. Eventually, at Orto Botanico in Brera, Irritec, with the vision, presents a fairy tale garden, and where the irrigation systems entwine with the flowers light and they dissolve in the greenery to respect the environment. I would like you to give it up for all the designers who are present here with us today. Well, almost finished, almost. Let's leave Statale University now in order to encounter the last two projects of this path. We go to Italy, Milano Smeraldo, and I'd like to invite on the floor Giotto Calendari. Do we have a microphone? No? Okay, you can go to the podium. The project for Italy is called Casa. Here the matter goes through food, and this really becomes a caring gesture. On the facade we have a simple, very simple phrase, "My love, did you eat?" And well, tell us about it. Well, if your grandmother is going to ask you whether you ate, you really have to say yes. I will be very short. The project, in collaboration with Italy for Italy, is an honest project. It's a human project, and matter in this case is food. Food as a matter of affection, of endearment. So I wanted to represent the figure of the granny that is going, to cook the spaghetti and asking, "Dear, have you eaten?" So the idea is sharing the strongest communication place we have, which is a table, sitting around the table. So I'm going to wait for you. It's going to be a very nice project. Now we're going to Via de Castiglia 23, and I'm going to call Leonardo San Giorgi from Studio Azzurro. Your project, Light of Fire, for Urban App Unipol, a large incandescent disc on the facade. There's the life core of the earth that evokes this primal energy. So, Leonardo, I'm asking you, what does it mean to bring inside the city this energy, this very strong energy? Thank you very much to everyone, especially thank you, Gilda, because she has been the energy that in a certain sense is represented in our project. And along with the urban app, we have designed on the facade in Via de Castiglia our project. It's a kinetic work that has that entails different perspectives and possibilities of reading. At a closer look, it's made of approximately 500 panels, which are independent. They rotate on wires that connect all of them together. Hence, these threads, these wires, along with the panels, create a big disc, a circle, and in the very core there's the incandescent core of the earth, but it's also core of energy. So fire and energy are gifts that we really need to be able to learn to share with everyone, but also to use very carefully and also saving them. And this work is partly influenced by the vertical buildings around it, and it is a large, big vertical space of meditation because it constantly moves and keeps changing. So I invite you to use this space as a city space for meditating. Thank you very much. So I'm going to steal from you this image of the fire because it's very, very powerful. The fire is very strong, but also the core, the pulsating heart, which reminds us that matter is never inert. It transforms, it can generate and regenerate. But before going together to visit all of these extraordinary installations, I wish to remind you that during this week, you're going to have 3 shows at Università Statale on 24th of April, 7:30, Esercizi di Stile, by Queneau, interpreted by Massimiliano Finanza Flores, and still on Friday At 8:30 p.m., Text Europe, and a performance between matter, body, and nourishment, and eventually in Aula Magna, here on Sunday the 26th at 6 o'clock p.m., we are going to have the beautiful concert by Riccardo Cocciante, Parole e Musica, Words and Music. At this point, I'm going to thank you for your participation. A special thanks to Gilda Boiardi for organizing all this and making all of this possible. I wish you all a very beautiful Fuori Salone.